Good morning, boys and girls. We are back and better than ever on Saturday, May 15th, 2021, here on Brewed Bets, where the coffee is strong and the bets are stronger. I'm your host, Brandon Johnson of Sports with BJ, and always I'm joined by JT of Sports Shift Media. JT, how we doing this morning?
Doing great. We had a great time last night on our Friday night show. Go check that out if you haven't listened to it yet. It's now up on Spotify as of 8 o'clock this morning. So ready to bring you more great stuff.
Burning the morning oil, Arna. Sorry.
Yeah.
I love that. So I've got a confession to make, but before I make my confession, I want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this show, Pale Horse Coffee. I don't know how many of y'all follow them. If you don't, you should. You're hurting our hearts by not doing so. But they were on Fox and Friends this morning. They were part of a national televised interview at 6:50 a.m. this morning. And they were making some big noise in the local paper here, the Virginian Pilot, and they're doing some great things. They're spreading that national growth that they are continuously striving for, and they're continuing to put out a great product and keeping true and strong to their core values. And it's just a pleasure to do business with them. So if y'all haven't checked that out, I'm sure Fox and Friends or Fox somewhere has that interview up. But shout out to them for the big thing they're doing. I say that shout out, and now I have to make the confession I don't want to make. I ran out of Pale Horse Coffee, and I ran out of time to go get more Pale Horse Coffee. So this morning, I am drinking Folgers Extra Strong Black this morning. So there's where we're at with the coffee game. We always start off and let y'all know how we're taking it this morning. So that's me. Regular.
I'm also out of all the beans of all the different types of coffee that I have. I'm drinking a Dunkin' K-Cup this morning with a little bit of cream.
Okay, a little K-Cup. I like that. So, do you have the Keurig that has the carafe feature as well, where you can do like slow drip coffee?
Yes.
I knew you were balling. What am I doing asking a dumb question? All right, well, let's get this show started the way we always do with a 3-2-1. That's where I bring you 3 good bets, 2 locks, and 1 upset that I think is going to happen today. We're going to hit on them quickly before we get into JT's good bets. I know he's got an action-packed slate for y'all, and I want to get to it. So, 3 good bets today. I'm going to take Washington versus Boston under 5.5 goals. I'll explain that a little bit later, but I think that was a borderline lock for me, but I saw 2 other ones that I liked. I'm going to also go Philly Union versus the New York Red Bulls, and I'm going to take that money line right there on that. And then a weird one, another soccer one, Wolverhampton and Tottenham, the Spurs go head-to-head there with the Wolves, and I'm going to actually take a pick that they're both going to score. That'll get you plus money, and I'll explain that why later. 2 locks for me today. The Chicago White Sox are playing the Kansas City Royals. They're laying 1.5, and I'm taking all of it. I think that's a lock right there. And LA Galaxy money line versus Austin FC. That'll speak for itself when we get there. And then my upset this Saturday is going to be Oakland money line versus the Twins, and we'll get into that. So that's the 3-2-1 here on Brewed Bets. JT, what do we got this morning?
So I'm going a little bit different than I have been. I'm going to go with 3 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday, and I'll tell you why. I usually parlay my picks in groups of 3, so I usually try to bet somewhere either 3 games, 6 games, 9 games, however many games I like on a slate. And I've been bringing you losers on Saturday. So
you're having a rough go of it ever since we cleaned the slate.
Yeah, so I promise that I am winning money. We talked about this before the show, but I am up money I'm up big during the week. So I'm going to try to carry that into Saturday here. But to start off my Saturday games, I'm going Giants Pirates under 7.5. Giants Pirates under 7.5. I'm also going White Sox minus 1.5. I think we probably saw the same trend there against the Royals, so we can get into that here in a little bit. And then I'm going Red Sox Angels over 9.5. I think that game's going to be a very high-scoring game today. And then over to Sunday, only 1 baseball pick. The Indians first inning under 0.5. The Penguins first game of the playoffs. Well, I guess the first round starts tonight, but the Penguins' first game of the playoffs is tomorrow. So I'm taking them money line against the Islanders. And then the spread's not out yet, but I am taking the Lakers spread against the Pelicans. Whatever it ends up being, I think that is a pretty safe bet, and I'll get into why a little later on.
Absolutely. So we are still here on Brewed Bets, where the coffee is strong and the bets are stronger. We just got done laying out the 3-2-1 and JT's best bets. He's got a lot of action for you all there, a lot to unpack. So JT, I'm actually going to let you go first because I see some things there, and I got to get to mine. Typically, so y'all know, first of all, if we're struggling early here, it's because we don't normally go this early. So we apologize for any stumbling, fumbling, bumbling, whatever else Chris Berman likes to say, but that's going to get worked out here. But JT, just so y'all know, we typically follow each other's bets. So if JT lays down some 3-game parlayers, I'm probably going to hop on him too. So I'm interested to hear your slate today. So talk to me about what you got.
Okay, so first is Giants Pirates under 7.5, and I follow the Pirates closely. They're my team, my hometown team, and Tyler Anderson is pitching for them, and he's been just about the only bright spot in that rotation. Everyone else is having a rough go of it early on in the season. Last time out, he went 8 strong innings, only giving up 1 run, and he hasn't given up more than 2 in any of his last 5 starts. So I think it's pretty safe that he's going to have another good outing, not give up more than 2 runs. And then the Pirates offense, let's just tell it how it is. They're terrible. Yeah. 28th in the league in runs, and they're going up against one of the best pitching staffs in all of baseball. So Johnny Cueto, he's kind of turned back the clock. And even if he struggles a little bit, even if he gives up maybe 3 runs over 5 innings or so, that bullpen's going to come in and shut it down. So 7.5, I feel pretty comfortable with that. White Sox minus 1.5, we both have it. They're going up against Mike Minor tonight, and I actually like him a lot as a pitcher, but the White Sox crush lefties. Mm-hmm. They are 7-1 this year against left-handed pitchers, and earlier this week on Wednesday, they went up against Jay Happ and put up 9 runs on him in 3 1/3 innings. Mm-hmm. Their OPS is over 900 against lefties compared to, I think, 700 against righties. And I think that 6 of those 7 wins against lefties came by multiple runs. Mm-hmm. So I think that's an easy bet that just anytime you see the White Sox going up, take it money line, take it minus 1.5, whatever you can get. I feel pretty good about that one. And then my last one, Red Sox Angels over 9.5. These are 2 of the top 5 offenses in the league. And I was looking at the pitching matchup. That's important to do when you're betting baseball. Always check the pitching matchup. And neither of these guys have a win. It's Dylan Bundy is going for the Angels, and I'm drawing a blank on who the Red Sox pitcher was. I'm pulling it up. Martin Perez. They're combined 0-6. They both have ERAs over 4. I just see the Angels lineup. I don't know if anybody watched last night, but they struggled to score some runs last night. I don't think that happens 2 games in a row. So that's my 3-game parlay for Saturday. What do you think?
I like it. The only thing that makes me a little nervous is the Red Sox and the Angels going over 9.5, only because I feel like the Red Sox offense has been Jekyll and Hyde all year long, and they go through. They'll have 3-4 games in a row where their bats are on fire. Then they'll go anemic. Then they'll have 2 games where they're good and 5 games where they're not. But I do like the road trip there for them. If they're gonna do it and put up a good number to help you get over that 9.5, I like them getting away from the confines of Fenway Park. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I think it's a pretty solid. I love what you said about the pitching staff of the Pirates, or I'm sorry, of the Giants, and what they're going to be able to do. And yeah, I'm ready to put that parlay in right now.
Well, I'll jump over to Sunday too. Get those out quick. Indians first inning under 0.5 runs. Shane Bieber's on the mound. This is just a principal pick for me. I usually take, so for parlays, for anybody that doesn't know, you can parlay multiple things within one game, but you can't do it multiple things in one game and then parlay it with something else. Right. So this parlay that I have, it would have included multiple things in that game, but I had to pick my favorite one. And with Shane Bieber on the mound, he doesn't give up runs in the first inning. He doesn't really give up that many runs overall. And then I went back and looked. They're going up against the Mariners, who their pitching staff's not great, but the Indians haven't scored a run in the first inning, or they've only scored it once in their last 14 games.
Mm-hmm.
So they come out slow during games. I think this game, there's not a run scored in the first inning, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's 0-0 going into like the fourth or fifth inning.
Yeah.
So that's it for my baseball picks. Hockey, my Pittsburgh Penguins, I have to take them in the first game of the playoffs. They're actually completely healthy for once. It has not been that way all season long. But even with all the injuries, they finished 9-2 in their last 11 games to take the number one overall spot in the East. And they're 6-2 against the Islanders this year. So they know the Islanders very well. I don't think they're going to let them. I don't really think they're going to let them compete in this series. I think this is possibly a five-game series. The Islanders struggled to win games. They kind of backed into the playoffs. They lost 7 of their last 10. So I think this is just a mismatch here going into the playoffs.
That's not the streak you want. No, it's not the streak you want going into the playoffs.
Yeah. And then we have the NBA wrapping up. Playoffs start next week. And I have the Lakers, whatever the spread comes out tomorrow against the Pelicans, because they are trying. We talked about this a little bit last night. If anybody wants to go listen to our Lakers talk, I think they're going to try everything they can to avoid that playing game. And especially if you end up as the 7th spot, you play against the Suns. I don't think they want to do that. I think they want to try to get to that 6th spot. The Blazers are there right now. They're only a half game back. And so they play the Pacers tonight. So I think if the Lakers win, they'll be tied with the Blazers. And they're going to try everything they can in that last game to beat the Pelicans. And the Pelicans have kind of given up. They sat down Zion for the rest of the year. He broke his finger, I think.
Yeah.
They've kind of mailed it in for next season. So I think this is a pretty good one that the Lakers are going to try to win to secure that 6th spot.
Yeah, and that was probably a really solid pick. Thursday night, or Thursday night, the Pelicans mathematically eliminated themselves from any type of playoff berth. So you're going to see that a lot with any of these teams that start getting eliminated. Keep an eye on that. That's always a good betting nugget. These teams that get eliminated, they're not in the business of moral victories. So you'll see stars sitting. You'll see people that have been nursing injuries that we didn't know about not playing because they're hurt, all these things. And we mentioned that with Zion. I mean, Zion's had a finger issue, but he's been playing through it because there was still a chance they could make the playoffs. Now it's not, and all of a sudden he's got a broken finger and he's out the rest of the year. So keep an eye on that, and great job picking up on that, JT. And those are some really, JT's best bet. You couldn't have said it better, man. Those are a solid pick. And I just want to make sure I understand this for myself and the viewers. The Indians first inning, the Pens money line, and the Lakers spread are another parlay for Sunday?
Yes. So, I technically have an 8-game slate for this weekend. I have the 3-game Saturday, then parlay those all together, and then the 3-game Sunday, parlay those all together. And hopefully we come back and talk next week, and it's an 8-0 week.
I love that. The only problem is the parlays are just a win or a loss.
Yeah.
So, Jay, what's going on here, ladies and gentlemen? JT's had a rough stretch, and he is limiting the amount of L's that can go in the loss column. He went with 6 games, but 2 3-game parlays. So the most he could lose would be 2 games. But hey, I think this is gonna hit. I think both of these are gonna hit. I like the Pens pick. I like the Indians with Shane Bieber going up against Shane Bieber, getting under that half in the first inning. And I agree with the Lakers. Again, the only thing I saw out there was that over 9.5. But if that was at the Red Sox with that Angels game, I would be against you. But with it being on the road, I am with you. So that's always a good thing when the 2 people bet and can agree on 2 bets.
Yep.
All right, so I guess we'll swing to the 3-2-1. A little out of my comfort zone here going last, but I think we'll be able to deliver it just as well. We are here still on Brewed Bets, where the bets are strong, or the coffee is strong too, right? I just messed up our own motto. This is early morning jitters, people. I'm telling you right now. We are Brewed Bets, where the coffee is strong and the bets are stronger, and we're going to break down the 3-2-1. So the first one I put out there was Washington versus Boston, and I wanted to go under 5.5. This is purely a veteran playoff goalie matchup, and why I'm going with this. You've noticed lately that Washington's been playing with a lot more effort on the defensive end, and I think that's because they know that they've got to stop that front line of Boston. And I
Mm-hmm.
think they get it done enough. They're averaging only allowing, I think, 26 shots on goal in their last like 5 or 6 games, which is a really, really low number. And when you've got Vanacek and Rask in between the pipes there, I like this game to stay under 5.5. I can see this. I can see a good scoring game being 3-2 here,
Mm-hmm.
and that keeps me under. So I'm going with the under 5.5 there. The Philadelphia Union versus the New York Red Bulls. Philly is on a winless streak right now. They're in a drought, at least with at home. Last year, one of their strengths was their almost perfect record at home. They play great soccer at home. Then they got to the playoffs, and I believe since August, now keep in mind the season got cut early, but I think since August they have not won at home. It was some crazy stat like that, and I'm a big believer in something's got to give. And I actually think Philly is the better club here, so I'm going to take them on the money line. I believe that gives you plus. No, that wasn't the plus 100, but it gives you a decent chance for some good money there. So I'm taking the Union there. And then my third good pit, the Wolverhampton Wolves and the Tottenham Spurs to both score. Tottenham's been really shaky with their D lately. I don't know if people say that in soccer. That's just the that's the basketball in me. But their defense, all right, has been shaky lately. Wolverhampton doesn't really have much to play for, as much so as Tottenham does. But I think with the shaky defense, it's going to be a battle for Tottenham to stop the Wolverhampton Wolves. So I like them both to score, and that's an easy pick. No one has to score more than anybody. We just need one goal on both sides, and we're there. So I think that's a really good bet.
Let's get that one out of the way early. Let's get 2 goals in the first 10 minutes, and then
That'd
you're
be
done for the
fantastic.
day.
We'll be done. So let's move on to 2 locks. My first lock is going to be the LA Galaxy taking the money line versus Austin. Listen, I love betting money line on soccer because the odds say that it's more likely a draw will happen than a win will happen. So you get money lines always at positive money. And this one comes in dead even. The LA Galaxy money line right now is running at plus 100. You bet 100, you win 100. And it's the Austin Football Club. I love them, but that's easy money. The Galaxy is the best team in the MLS, and they're going to show it in spades today. So I'm taking the Galaxy money line as a lock.
Good question. I mean, I don't watch too much of the MLS, but is Austin a new team?
I believe they are an expansion team in Texas, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So the next lock there, we already talked about this. I'm going with the Chicago White Sox minus a 1.5 against Kansas City. Look, Kansas City's 2-12 in the month of May after having a decent April. I think they were 15-9. And you said it, Mike Minor. He's on the mound. They've already seen him twice this year. That is the White Sox. The last time they roughed him up for 5 runs over 5 innings. And like you said, they're hitting .317 against lefties as a team. That's not shaping up for a good bounce back game for a 2-12 club in the month of May. So I'm taking the White Sox minus a 1.5, and you can lock it. Those are 2 locks right there for you. And then my one upset, Oakland money line versus the Twins. This might not seem like an upset. But again, remember, we've discussed this multiple times on the show. An upset pick in betting is where you take the underdog. And for some reason, Oakland is the underdog today, but the Twins are falling and their concerns are growing. The fan base over there is getting really, really worried about what's going on in that bullpen. They can't put runs on the board, and they can't keep them off the board. I don't know a lot about baseball, but I know that's not a recipe for winning. So I'm taking the Oakland Athletics. They've got a solid lineup. I think Frankie Montas is going. Montross, is that who's going for them?
I had Cole Irvin going, but
okay. Yeah, I'm going based on. So I have Frankie on my fantasy baseball team, and sometimes they'll throw that little check, like if they're between 2 starters, they might go again. So I don't know if he's actually there, but either way, I like Oakland and their bats and their pitching more than I like a reeling Twins team. And that's going to be my upset.
The only thing with that concerns me is Jose Barrios on the mound, because he is the one guy that can kind of lock things down for the Twins.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised if you have to sweat this thing out for maybe the first 6 innings or so.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right, that Twins bullpen is rough. So as
Right.
long as the A's stick in it and it's within a 1-run game, things can turn quickly in the seventh, eighth, and ninth.
Absolutely. And that was my thought too. I take this pick fully expecting that it's going to make me bite my nails for the entirety of it. I do think that this could end up being like a 3-2 game, and the last run is scored in like the ninth inning. And of course luckily it's at Minnesota, so it's not a 10:05 game tonight. It'll probably be some, an 8:30 or 9 o'clock game.
Yeah.
Um, Two cream, one sugar. Pat says he's in the car with all the kids. He's not even going to try to hop in. That is fine, Pat. We appreciate that. I hope your cream and sugar is good for you this morning. So that's the 3-2-1. And JT's good best bets for the weekend. We got 2 parlays coming at you. We've got 6 picks on the 3-2-1. If you look at that, 6 picks on JT's bets too. If you want to take them single, I know we like to hedge those bets as well because it always sucks. It never fails, right? Everything's going well. You win 99% of the parlay, and then one game loses, and you're like,
Yeah. And I'm going to do a little bit more research as the day goes along. So if anybody wants to follow me at JTZ4 on Twitter, I will put out one more parlay. So I just want to set the record straight. I am betting all of these games individually and then also parlaying them together. So, and then I will also have a first inning under parlay for later today. So anybody out there that wants some more bets, go follow me at JTZ4, and I'll get that out by probably around 1 o'clock today once I get to do some more research.
Absolutely. You can check him out there. Again, JTZ4. That is on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Sports Shift Media Facebook page as well. There's always some good stuff there. And let's wrap this up a little bit with something fun, because I know this is something probably a lot of people out there can relate to. It's slow pitch softball season, baby. And you've got opening day. So how is JTZ feeling?
I got to do a lot of stretching today. I know I went out and threw probably a week ago, and I was like, I got to do this. I wasn't sure when our season started because our guy didn't get back to us until Thursday saying that the season started. So I got one round of throwing in. Game starts at 8:15. I'm probably gonna show up at like 6 and get some batting practice in, get some stretching in, some throwing. We're getting older. It's just what we have to do to get through the day.
I love it, and I can already see it. Someone's gonna show up. How long you been here? 6.
Yeah.
What? Oh no, I wanted to watch the games before I check out the other teams.
Exactly. Yeah. As long as there's other games going on, there's no one will say a thing. It's just when you show up and you're the first game and there's no one else there for over an hour.
Yeah. And we over here on the Virginia side of things, we are halfway through. Well, no, we just finished our 5th of 9 weeks of co-ed softball here.
Huh.
We're in the midst of men's league as well, where I play for Big Ugly, the sponsor of the Sports with BJ show. And last night, the co-ed team was able to lock up the championship. We mathematically eliminated any possibility that someone could come and catch us. We played the second place team, 14-10 the first game. 21-0 run rule in the third inning, the second game. So we are now 10-0 on the season, and the next closest team is now 5-3. So we're looking pretty good for another championship there. And then our Big Ugly team on the men's league, I think we're sitting strong at 8-2 after we took a doubleheader this Wednesday. So we're still defending our city championship there, and only because the city won't do playoffs because of COVID. I don't know why we can have an entire league, but we can't do playoffs.
Yeah, especially with everything opening up, and kind of the CDC pulling back on the guidelines. So hopefully, I'm hoping that they change the playoffs. I mean, we had playoffs last year, so I guess the things are a little different up here. But this is actually a team that I'm playing for. This is a combined team. So I played in a different league, and we kind of took 3 teams and combined it into one. And we've moved to a different league. So I'm excited for this to see what happens. But, I got to go out and get the first victory tonight.
I love that. I always start the season strong. That's it. So do y'all play double headers or y'all play single games?
Double headers.
Nice. At least get the split.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll wrap things up with a recap here on Brewed Bets. JT's best bets today. We've got 6 singles and 2 3-game parlays with these 6 singles. So we got Giants Padres under 7.5 runs, White Sox minus 1.5 against the Royals, Red Sox Angels over 9.5, and then on Sunday we're going the Indians, the first inning under to be under a run and a half or a half of run.
Mm-hmm.
The Pens are going to be 125 money line takers against the Islanders tomorrow, and the Lakers spread whatever that comes out at. Keep that in mind. Whatever the number comes out at, we're taking it. The 3-2-1 Washington versus Boston on the ice minus or under 5.5 goals. Philadelphia Union money line against the New York Red Bulls. Wolverhampton and Tottenham to both score. The White Sox and the Royals again minus 1.5 for the White Sox. We'll count that as one bet since we're both taking it. LA Galaxy money line versus the Austin FC, and the one upset of the weekend I'm going with is the Oakland money line versus the Twins. So there it is. There's your Brewed Bets this morning. The coffee was definitely strong. I've got some things going on right now with the coffee and the jitters for sure. I don't think I needed to hit the strong button, but I did, and now we're living with it. JT, any parting words for us?
Just always remember to bet responsibly. That's the key to all of this. If you have any issues, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And yeah, I think that's all I got for today.
All right. Well, that was another weekend there of good picks with you here on Brewed Bets, where the coffee's strong and the bets are stronger. We'll see y'all next Saturday.